Come on, Doug. I'm waiting. Ryan, are you getting any tweets at all from Mr. Wright?
Mr. Godwin's texting with him right now.
He'll be on there in a minute. What his last text was.
His last text said he'd be on in a minute.
Well,
I just texted him, told him he's late.
it's imperative that we have all 6 tonight because of the severity of the legislation that we have to deal with.
Lance, can you step out? Should I call him? Let him know it's important. Clarence is going to step out and call him. See if we can get him. I'm like, my chair is straight. That John. It's like being at home. That's good. Is he gonna get on? Hey, John. He said he's gonna get on. So if you want to go ahead and start the agenda, and then hopefully he'll be here by the time we start the.
All right. Well, that would be
resolution.
good. So, before we begin, as you all know, we have some issues with some passing of some council members, and I'd like some of this to be entered in the minutes or in the record. So therefore, I'm going to ask the clerk to call the roll, please, and call the council to order.
Whitaker,
Here.
Wright, Baumgardner,
Here.
Godwin,
Here.
Rogers,
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Before we have the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm sure many of you are aware that our beloved lady council person, Dory Howdishell, passed away last week from the dreaded COVID-19. In my tenure on council, this is the second person that has died in office, and it's not easy. Additionally, when I first came on council back in 1990, there was a lady who was the city auditor, and her name was Marvella Fletcher. And she served in that capacity for a lot of years. I can't tell you the exact number of years, but she was a very fine lady. As a matter of fact, not only was she auditor, she served as the clerk of council as well, followed by Nancy Myers. And then after her retirement, we now have Mrs. Willman. So there have only been 3 auditors. And you know, the nice thing about it is those ladies were diligent enough in all their dealings to never have had a audit finding. So for that, we are thankful. And to the family of Marvella, we send our sincere condolences and wish them all the very best. As far as Dory, loved her giggles and her effervescent attitude when she came in. She was always upbeat, and I think contributed a lot to this council. She was a business lady from downtown for a number of years, and then moving on to a member of this council. Just an added note, a celebration of life will be held for Dory on May the 8th at the Greenville Moose Lodge from 1 to 4 p.m. So if you'd like to stop by and wish her family well and share some stories, which I'm sure anybody who knew Dory has some stories. And that's the fun part of doing this and paying respect, is to remember the good times. So with that, I would ask that we pause just for a few moments of silence before we do the pledge. Thank you very much. Now, if you will, let's all stand for the pledge to the flag.
I, Mr. Burgett,
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, Mr. Wright.
I, Mr. Burgett, sorry I'm late.
We just had some preliminary things taken care of. I'm glad you could join us. We have a full complement of council for tonight. That's 6 members. Approval of the minutes. You all received a copy of the last meeting's minutes in the mail. Are there any additions or corrections to those? Seeing none, they will stand approved as presented. Approval of the current financial report. You've all received copies again from the auditor's office for the opening. Excuse me. My apologies. This is probably going to be an ongoing thing all evening. Any additions or corrections or questions for the auditor? If none, I would entertain a motion that we approve.
So move.
Motion for Mr. Bumgarner to approve the current financial report. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes,
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Approval of the agenda. I have one item to add to the agenda, and that would be under ordinances and resolution. We have a need for the addition of item 5, which is a supplemental appropriations ordinance, and it has 2 parts to it. Is that correct? I'm addressing that to either the auditor or.
That's correct.
Pardon?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. And everything else is good to go then. I didn't ask before we started, would there be a need for an executive session tonight?
No.
No.
Okay, seeing none, then
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
motion by Mr. Schmidt to approve the agenda is amended. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
yes,
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, public hearing. I see only one person connected who not necessarily a council member, but if anyone wishing to address council would like to, they certainly may do so at this time. Please state your name and address and we'll go from there. Okay, seeing none, we will move the agenda. Going on to administrative reports, Mayor Wellman.
Thank you, Council President.
Just want to reiterate a little bit.
Mr. Willman, excuse
Yeah,
me.
got it
pull the
now.
Microphone down there a little bit.
Got it now, I guess. Reiterate what we've talked about for so long, water rates, just to make sure everybody realizes that the importance of it and that it's come to head that from over years, and it's going on 18 and a half years since Corning closed up, and while Corning was here and those years, several years following, it really it didn't affect us to the place we realized, and that small increments of rate increase could have helped us quite a bit. Now we're kind of stuck in a hard place that we wish that council earlier would have done a little bit, but I think that at the time, members of council in the years past were doing what they needed to do and saw fit that those were the decisions they made at the times. Not so much that we're trying to make up from what something they did wrong, but we do have to do something now to make it better for everybody. We've discussed this quite a bit, and we finally do have another committee report. So we'll move on with that. I think Ryan's going to follow up a little bit with some little extra detail that we discussed today with the utilities that needs a little explanation besides what we've talked about for the community. And I'm sure there'll be people watching this on a repeat on YouTube later tonight or tomorrow. So hopefully they'll get a little more information from it. So I just encourage everyone to realize that even though we're going to hear about it, that and it sometimes be tough for people to budget their money when they're living on a base amount of income anyway. And but we understand that, and we wish them the best. And it doesn't seem like as much when you start looking at it on a monthly budgeting amount. It's several dollars, but hopefully everybody gets by with it. And I encourage us to continue to vote for that. Besides that, I got one or two things. I'm not sure if everybody has gotten an email yet. I'll make sure it comes out tomorrow at least, that at the end of the week on Friday, I believe, the 22nd at noon, we'll be swearing in Ryan Benji in the police department for lieutenant, and we'll be swearing in Ben Boyer right after each other, same time, whatever they want to do, for sergeant. So a couple of good guys, looking forward to that, and filling some positions that we need. And so it's going to be pretty cool. So I'll try to make sure you guys all get an email tomorrow about that. Other thing, I know that I think it's pretty open that Jaffe is planning an expansion, and it will have, I'll have more on that later, but details, but down the road, they'll start working on it this year, and probably hire about 20 more people out there. That's a great deal for the community. And hopefully there will be more in the short-term future. So that's all I got for now. I pass.
Thank you. Well, that's some fairly good news. Appreciate that.
Excuse me, I do have one other thing. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about gas aggregation. What's it, Harmon, what's his first name? Can't think of it. Same person that's approached us before in the past for electric and gas before. Our Gastron contract is coming to an end in that aggregation group. And so we're going to be on the phone with him in a conference call tomorrow to start working on a new gas aggregation contract.
When would that become effective?
Trying to think, remember when the date was? Pretty soon, isn't it? I'm not sure. Oh, it started 22.
I can't understand you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, Ryan was talking, I was kind of listening, but we're not positive on what that date is it ends. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. We'll follow up with it on next meeting. We'll make sure everybody knows.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along, Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to touch base. We're talking about these water rates, and one of the big things is going to monthly billing. So we've kind of been discussing with the utilities office, what the best way to go to monthly billing is going to be, because we're on a quarterly cycle now. So how that would work if council chooses to go this direction to monthly billing. So the city's basically broken up into thirds. We have 3 sections, and then you get billed quarterly. So whatever that date is that is determined that we're going to go to monthly billing, then like one section of the city who is due up for their 3-month water bill would have a 3-month water bill. Next month, they would start their monthly. During that same time frame, the other section would get a 2-month water bill, and the last section would just get a 1-month water bill. And after that, it would be monthly from that point on. With that said, something else, if we go this direction, so we will go through Smart Bill. So a couple other options. It's going to make it so you can get your bills emailed to you. You can still have them mailed if you would like to, but you can get them emailed to you also, which a lot of people have asked for that. And then we already do accept credit card and debit card payments, but it would clean that up a little bit on the Smart Bill. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions come up over these water rates and the monthly billing, but that was just one thing we talked about monthly billing, but we never really discussed how we were going to implement it, and that is going to be our implementation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can on that. And then the next thing, I just wanted to speak on this a little bit. So item 5 added to the agenda for the supplemental. So this supplemental is going to be for a CIP submission in the IT department. So our servers and our server hardware and software are at their end of life. So this is a pretty major, 2 major projects really. One for the servers, one for the hardware and software side of things. We're talking around one's $34,000 and one's $41,000. So we're underneath that requirement to bid. But if we give this company a PO before the end of January, we'll save $2,312. And it was an item that we're going to have to do regardless. We can't let our servers go down. We have to do backups. And we thought we might as well save the $2,300 now. And I would be happy to answer any questions on that. And with that, I will pass.
Ryan, back to the first part of your discussion there about going to the monthly bill. I know we had several meetings about this in the past, and I'm sure it got brought up at some point, but will this require the utility department to hire anyone, or are they able to handle the more frequent billing cycles with the personnel they have, or we don't know yet?
No, good question. We believe that they're going to be able to handle it with the current staff that they have. So we're going into it with that. The big thing in the utilities office is we have a retirement coming up. We have a test for some replacement. So this is all coming to fruition at the exact same time. So there's going to be a lot of training, but we feel like we're going to be prepared, and the current staff feels that they can handle it without adding additional employees.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Further questions for the Safety Service Director? And once again, as you know, we look at that legislation a little later. If you have questions, there's a period or an opportunity for you to ask there. Moving on, Law Director, Mr. Raymond.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just a couple quick things this evening. First, the mayor already touched on the Jaffe expansion. One of the great things is people are becoming aware of some of the opportunities that the city can help out with. We did get an application for a CRA through Jaffe too. And so we'll put together an agreement and work on that and hopefully bring that to council here in the near future. But through that, as the mayor said, I think they're looking to add 15 to 20 full-time jobs and invest just under $2 million out there in that property and equipment and updates. So, it's exciting that the companies are understanding that the city's willing to work with them, that we want to be here to help. So hopefully we can keep that narrative going and continue the success with that. And then lastly, I just wanted to personally offer my condolences to Dory's family and friends. She always had a smile on her face, as the council president mentioned, and I certainly will miss her personality up here in council chamber. So with that, I will pass.
Thank you, sir. City Auditor, Mrs. Wellman.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. All I have to say tonight is my most sincere condolences to Mark and all the rest of Dory's family on her passing. She was always a positive person when she came in, always had a joke and a smile on her face, and she will be greatly missed. And with that, I pass.
Okay, thank you very much. Committee reports. We have one committee report scheduled for this evening of the Utilities Committee, Water and Sewer Rates for 2021. The clerk, will you please read the report?
Honorable members of council, the Utilities Committee hereby submits our report. The Utilities Committee met on October 28, 2020 and November 4th, 2020 at 1:00 p.m. in the basement of the municipal building, and met on January 7th, 2021 on Zoom and with council to discuss the assignment of reviewing the city's water and sewer rates. After much discussion and at the recommendation of Water Superintendent Evans, the committee recommends a 50% increase to the water rates effective May 1st, 2021, with an additional 18% increase effective November 1st, 2021. The committee recommends a 25% increase to the sewer rates effective May 1st, 2021, with an additional 10% increase effective November 1st, 2021. These increases are in accordance with the rate sheet that is attached to this report. Stormwater rate will go from $8.85 quarterly to $2.95 monthly with no increase. Water Superintendent Evans and Wastewater Superintendent Knife believe the rate increases will allow necessary projects to be completed and would aid with their safety and environmental concerns. The committee also recommends that the city go to monthly water and sewer bill instead of a quarterly bill effective May 1st, 2021. The committee believes this will help lessen the burden of the rate increase to the residents of Greenville. Respectfully submitted, Committee on Utilities.
Want to read those names, please?
Chairman Clarence Godwin, Vice Chairman Doug Wright, Member John Baumgartner.
Okay, you've heard the reading of the committee report.
Move to accept the committee report.
Mr. Baumgartner?
Yes.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to accept the committee's report. And also with that is attached, excuse me, some of the breakdowns that will be, I'm sure, incorporated into the legislation once it's prepared. Discussion on the motion to accept the committee's report.
Is this the proper time to discuss the report itself?
Yes.
Or are we just, okay.
Yes.
Personally, I want to applaud everyone that's been involved, and I've been involved myself in meetings in the past, looking at this. And I know we need to do something. There's no question about that. That's been a hard line here for a while, but we definitely need to make some changes. And me personally, I think 50% starting is too much. But that's just my personal opinion. There's a lot going on in this world right now. We've had a lot of people that have been out of work and working short weeks and everything else. That one's kind of a hard pill to swallow, but I appreciate all the work that's been put into this, and would suggest maybe looking at maybe a 25% instead of the 50. we didn't get into this position overnight. I don't really feel we're going to get out of it overnight. But there again, that's my opinion. So thank you.
And are you offering that as an amendment, sir, or just a comment?
Well, I guess I would see what anyone else, if anyone else wishes to speak to it. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I don't know, but I've had an opportunity to call a couple of members of council today. I did not speak with everyone, but putting this out ahead of time, giving us a chance to review it, I think was a good choice, and so I was able to come prepared with some questions, I guess, but rather than just having it, thrown at us at the meeting tonight. But if no one else agrees, so be it. But I'll be in the minority. But yeah, I guess I would be in favor of seeing that changed.
One of the things I want to talk about, the second sheet that was put out with everybody should have got, with the 50% increase on water and 25% on sewer, your monthly bill would be $31.20 a month. Then effective 11/1 of 21 would be $35.38. That's with the 18% and the 10% increase on that.
And that's the minimum, correct?
Yes, the minimum rate.
Do you have the average
Yeah.
household rate?
Yeah, the average water rate would be $39.41 a month. Then with the increase on 11/1 would be $44.77.
And that is the average residential,
Average residential rate.
right?
And they did mine, and I've got 4 adults living at my house, and the quarterly would have been $118, then, which would be around $39. Then the overall average would be $39.41 for my monthly billing. And she did some comparison with some of the other charges in other cities. I know I've dealt with Union City, Indiana, and theirs is $100 a month over there. The minimum is $100 a month. And we got some other rates from like Arcanum, and what we're paying in a quarter, Arcanum's paying $199.85. New Madison's paying $231, and we're paying $72.95 for that same 3 months. Then, like I said, that Union City was $224 something, and Ansonia charges $189 for every 3 months, and we're paying $72 for the minimum over here in Greenville. And the last time, it was in 2016, the water rates were increased, and it went up like $1.30 a unit is what the prices were. In 2012, it went up 50%, was the last increases in the city of Greenville.
Okay, further discussion.
Yeah, so, and I'll call on Ryan to ask some of these questions, but Ryan, the reason for this price increase is for infrastructure. So can you kind of roll through some of the things that needs done immediately and things that needs done real close down the road?
Absolutely. So we'll start with the water side. The 2 biggest items. Number 1 is the main line that goes from the water plant into the city, which is a 14-inch water main that was installed in 1898. And 14 inches also an oddball size. So that's the number 1 priority right now. So if that fails, you're talking a catastrophic failure for the city supplying water to the residents. It's the main line, like I said, from the plant into the city. That engineer's estimate, you're talking somewhere in the $1.5 to $2 million range. Second big priority is a water tower. So this would be a water tower out in the industrial park. We already have land. We already have a line there. So another big portion, we have 12 hours of overhead storage in the city of Greenville. So what that means, if our water plant goes down and we can't pump water anymore, we can last 12 hours at the rate that we use water in the city. So the EPA as a whole doesn't recognize anything under 24. So we're not even recognized as having any storage due to only having 12 hours. And they recommend anywhere from 36, 72 to the most. So we would be looking at adding a 2 million gallon water tower out there, which would give us 36 hours of overhead storage. No, I'm wrong. Yes, no, 36 hours of overhead storage. That would help us out tremendously if we ever had anything catastrophic go down. And a water tower at last estimate, I think was 4 or 5 years ago, a water tower of that size would be about $5 million. So with these rate increases, we're talking from getting the rates in to collecting the funds to getting everything set. You know, some of these projects are already probably 5 years down the road. So that's the water. And there's way more that goes to it, and infrastructure is everything right now. That's what needs to be helped. Then on the sanitary side of things, so we do have some projects going on out there right now. One is the clarifiers, replacing the clarifiers. The next item we're getting ready to start on out there is UV light. So we're getting rid of chlorine and moving towards UV light, which is a much safer process, but expensive to get to that point. Our probably top priority after that would be a solids handling facility. So basically what we do right now, we pump what we call sludge from our wastewater plant out to our landfill in a tank that was built probably back in the 60s, 50s, 60s. So it's about 2 miles of line that goes under the creek also, and the EPA does not like that. So if we have a failure of that line, say underneath the creek, then we're pumping raw sewage into the Greenville Creek, which you're talking, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines, let alone what it would cost to fix it. So that's our top priority on the sanitary side. And then the storm side will not be going up. It's just prorated out from the quarterly to the monthly.
Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Further questions?
Yeah, the other comment, these two, the sewer and the water is enterprise funds. And Roxanne, correct me if I'm wrong, that they don't get no monies from the general fund. They have to sustain themselves.
Correct.
And, you know, that's what they have to use to operate on. And the cost of running the plants and the chemicals and everything else that's out there, you know when you go to the store, everything's going up. And, you know, with the water rates not going up and the sewer rates not going up, that, you know, we need to raise the rates to side the increase.
Further comments?
One thing that I was kind of in the same thing as what Doug Schmidt is, that I thought it was kind of exorbitant to start with. After the breakdown for the monthly, yes, it's going to still put a hurt on people with fixed incomes and et cetera. In talking to my mom and my aunt, they use under the minimum. And so I think they would be okay. However, I understand that we definitely need some things fixed. And in the future, it's going to be a possibility that we could have a disaster would create a problem. So, you know, I'm kind of in that catch-22 there. I agree with it, but yet I don't.
Yeah, I think the other point too I'd like to make is because our rates are so low, we're one of the lowest, I think the second or third from the lowest around 40 communities around communities like Greenville. We compared it to Troy and Sydney and all around Dayton area. We are, I think, second or third from the bottom, lowest. If we did have to have some type of an emergency where we had to go to try to borrow or to get some type of a grant, because our rates are so low, they're going to deny it. They're going to say, hey, you need to raise your rates first before we could even get any type of grant or et cetera. Is that right, Mr. Mayor and Ryan?
That's correct.
Okay, unless there's further discussion, we do have a motion on the table to accept the committee's report. Excuse me. Any further discussion or comments? Ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
No.
Okay, it takes a simple majority and it's 5-1. Now, don't don't get all excited because your water rates and sewer rates are not going to go up tomorrow. This was passed as a committee report. Excuse me. Now, the legislation has to be prepared by the law director to put all of this into motion. At which time council will consider the ordinance to raise the water rates. And at my very strong suggestion that we do it on 3 separate readings to give people a chance who would like to call in and express an opinion. Please do so. We always publish the phone numbers and the ID numbers for the Zoom in. We do have the capability of hearing from people outside. So if you want to do that, please do. It's very important that you have a right to express your opinion. So therefore, as I said, this just puts in place the motion to prepare the legislation. At the next regular council meeting, excuse me, will it be that soon, Mr. Law Director?
Yes, it will.
Okay,
Yes, it will.
we could consider it for its first reading. So any further comments or questions on that issue? If none, we'll move the agenda and go on with ordinances and resolutions.
Okay. An ordinance appropriating funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the city of Greenville, Ohio for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. This ordinance appropriates the funds of the city of Greenville for personal services, operations, and maintenance, transfers, and capital new equipment to fulfill purposes for which the city of Greenville must provide in the year 2021. This ordinance has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion of Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, but I see that we're missing a council member, so we have a problem.
He stepped out for, I assume, just one brief moment. I anticipate he'll be back.
Because now just double checking with the city auditor while we're trying to buy a little time here, Mrs. Woman. This is the 2021 appropriations for the entire city, all of the general fund and the enterprise funds, parks, everything else, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. What is the total of all the things together?
Total amount of the budget for 2021 is $26,052,889. That's what it's going to take to operate for this coming year.
And we
Wow.
can do that if we hit the lottery tonight. Mr. Rogers is back. Okay. Now, we have a motion by, who is it, Mr. Baumgartner?
Godwin,
Godwin.
Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules and give it second, third reading by title only. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance appropriating funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency. An ordinance appropriating funds necessary for the various departments and offices of the City of Greenville, Ohio for the year 2021 and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, you just spent $26 million. That's pretty good. Next, we have a resolution waiving payment to Pam Runner in the amount of $6,985.92 plus late fees incurred as a result of a water leak at 6085 Sebring Warner Road, Lot 56, and declaring an emergency.
Resolution waiving payment by Pam Runner in the amount of $6,985.92 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as the result of a water leak at 6085 Sebring Warner, Lot 56, Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. This resolution waives the payment made by Pam Runner in the amount of $6,985.92 plus the waiving of late fees representing the sewer use charges incurred as a result of a water leak at the address of 6085 Sebring Warner Road, Lot 56, Greenville, Ohio 45331. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules. Read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion? Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution waiving payment by Pam Runner in the amount of $6,985.92 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 6085 Sebring Warner, Lot 56, Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. A resolution waiving payment by Pam Runner in the amount of $6,985.92 plus all late fees representing sewer usage and late fee charges incurred as a result of a water leak at 6085 Sebring Warner, Lot 56, Greenville, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the emergency clause. Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Move
Next,
to,
I'm sorry, somebody say something?
do we need to move, was that the emergency clause?
Mhm.
So we need a motion
Oh.
to adopt.
I think we need to do.
You're right. Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adopt the resolution. Discussion?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ryan or somebody, what this was.
Yes, so at Owine's Trailer Court, there was a major water leak. Basically, it was her line coming in was running almost full bore for a period of about 3 months. That computed to like a little over 1.8 million gallons of water usage. And what happened? So our meters, as a lot of you are aware, read spike, and we can see that data when a meter runs, and we contact those people, and it even picks up something as little as a spigot or a toilet running here and there. In this case, it flooded the meter. So then it gave us what we call, in the utilities realm, they called it dead meter. And there are a lot of dead meters all over town for many different reasons. So she noticed it running, but didn't contact anyone. And knew she had a leak, knew she had low water pressure, but financially just didn't feel she could have someone come and repair it for her. So this section is just to waive the late fees and all the sewer, which is about half of the bill, because all the water ran onto the ground and underneath the trailer. So on the other side of this, just to add to it, I do want to commend Mr. Evans, because our water superintendent went out and found her a grant to pay for the remainder of the water bill. So once you guys pass this, if you guys pass this, then the CAP program is going to write a check for the remainder of her bill.
Okay.
Well, it's already passed. Is that not correct?
Yeah, just another comment on this. I've seen a lot of stuff on social media about this, and sometimes we are made out to be the bad guy. And here tonight, we're passing legislation to waive all the fees, and we found a way to work around it. So those people that want to put trash talk on social media about how evil and bad the city is, pay attention what we're doing here.
I agree.
Okay, anything further? Okay, moving along, a resolution authorizing the,
That was just,
At the
I'm sorry.
vote.
that was just discussion. We still need to vote.
We still need to vote to accept
Okay,
that.
all right, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, call the roll then.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we have a resolution authorizing the CRA agreement between the City of Greenville and JNR Properties LLC and Classic Warehousing Incorporated with Greenville CRA area and declaring an emergency.
A resolution authorizing a community reinvestment area CRA agreement between the City of Greenville and JNR Properties LLC and Classic Warehousing Incorporated within Greenville CRA area and declaring an emergency. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director and/or Mayor to execute the Community Reinvestment Area CRA agreement between the City of Greenville and JNR Properties LLC and Classic Warehousing Incorporated within the Greenville CRA area. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Take a motion to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion from Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title, second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing a Community Reinvestment Area CRA agreement between the City of Greenville and JNR Properties LLC and Classic Warehousing Incorporated within Greenville CRA area and declaring an emergency. A resolution authorizing a Community Reinvestment Area CRA agreement between the City of Greenville and JNR Properties LLC and Classic Warehousing Incorporated within Greenville CRA area and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Motion, Mr. Rogers,
Mhm.
adopt emergency clause. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the ordinance, resolution. Discussion.
No, I'd just like to make a comment. I know there's a lot of hard work gone into this, so I know the members of everyone here that did the hard work. Thank you. I think that's really good.
This is relative to properties in there for a situation in the industrial park. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Further discussions or questions? Okay, the motion is to adopt. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
And item 4, resolution authorizing entry into a vehicle service agreement with the Dark County Commissioners.
A resolution authorizing entry into a vehicle service agreement with the Dark County Commissioners. This resolution authorizes the entry into a vehicle service agreement with the Darke County Commissioners so the City Police Department can continue to utilize the county service garage.
Move to suspend the rules, give this second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, read the resolution by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing entry into a vehicle service agreement with the Darke County Commissioners. A resolution authorizing entry into a vehicle service agreement with the Darke County Commissioners.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
And finally, item 5 is a supplemental appropriations ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. This supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund and CIP fund in the sum as follows. CIP transfer, elected auditor and treasurer in the amount of $76,000. These funds are needed for transfer to the CIP fund for IT equipment purchases. General government new equipment, CIP, in the amount of $76,000. These funds are needed for the purchase of IT equipment.
Move to suspend the rules and give the ordinance reading by title only for second and third time.
Motion, Mr. Whitaker, to suspend the rules, read the ordinance by title second and third time. Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion.
Do they have an emergency clause? Okay.
Discussion. Call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes our ordinances and resolutions for this evening. Nothing under items under new business or old business. How about items of communication?
We received the monthly report of December for the fire department, and then we received the fourth quarter report for the fire department.
Okay, anything from any members of council on communications? None, seeing none, we will call down the council, please.
Whitaker,
Just want to express everyone's condolences to Dory's family. It's just very sad news. Dory was a friend to me for the last 5 years. And I know that she's going to be missed by her coworkers at the Harbor Freight store where she loved going. And to Mark, who's a friend of ours as well. So sorry. To you and your family, we offer our prayers. I want to thank everyone who did the diligent work on the Utilities Committee regarding the water rates. Took a lot of thought, and they saw everything that was needed and weighed it out. I mean, we were offered, quite a bit more as far as tripling the rates when we first took a look at this, and we knew we couldn't do that. And they realized it, and they did some diligence and hard work and made the comparisons with all the other communities around. And I think we've done something that's going to be sustainable and give us the opportunity to fix the things that need to be fixed within a reasonable time frame. So thanks, and I'm glad to be able to agree to all this, and I think it's going to be a good thing for the city of Greenville. With that, I pass.
Right?
I also would like to express my condolences to Mark for the passing of Dory. She was a fantastic lady, always had a smile on her face, always wanted to speak to everybody, and she will be missed by all of us. I'll pass.
Baumgartner?
Yeah, I mean, same message, I've known Dory. I ran around with her in high school with her oldest boy. And so I've known her from like way back, and she was just as bubbly, when I was a teenager, as she was here lately. I loved going out to Harbor Tools, but I knew if I got in her line, it would be a 20-minute and I'd have 10 people backed up because we would talk and talk. And I've known Mark, her husband, a long time. So just my heart's broke for Dory and all of her family. And then also, the Fletcher family. Marvella was a great lady. I've learned when I first got on council, she was kind of coming off, and I learned so much from her, and I also know her husband Tom real well. So just two big holes that we've left here in the city to replace them. So just with that, I pass.
Godwin?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo the same as far as for Dory and for Mark. It's I see Mark at Lowe's all the time, and I knew Dory back when she had her business up there on Broadway, and she will be missed. And condolences to the family. And as far as I'm going to speak a little bit on the water rates. This has been like a year. It's been going on for almost a year. We had committee of the whole meetings, in the spring, and so we didn't just have 3 meetings talking about this thing. It's been going on for a long time, and like Mr. Whitaker talked about, when it was first brought up, it was, we needed to do 300%, and then it was 200%, to get up to where we need to be to get things fixed. Then, so the decision wasn't made in 3 meetings, where we're at. So with that, if anybody, come to the next council meeting or get on Zoom and, express your opinion or what you think. And with that, I'll pass.
Rogers?
Condolences to the Fletcher family. I know Marvella was a great person. She's going to be missed. And to this lady that sat beside me, going to miss her. She was such a friend. She could be a friend to anybody. Then I pass.
Schmidt?
Dory, we're sure going to miss you. I'm just thankful for the time that we got to serve together here on council on different committees and working together. And I just got to know her. I didn't know Dory really well until she came on council, and we just hit it off really good. And she's sure going to be missed. I'll pass.
President Burkett?
Yes, I have a couple of things, excuse me, relative to Mrs. Fletcher. Kim may get a charge out of this, I don't know, but when I first came on council, as I told you, she served as clerk of council. And Jessica, you do a fine job of reading the legislation, but I swear Marvella Fletcher could read faster than I could listen. I mean, she could rattle them off like you would not believe and not miss a word. And it was like phenomenal. And of course, in her diligence in the auditor's office, it was every I was dotted and every T was crossed. And it better be done right. There was only one way to do it. And that was right. So I appreciate the precedent that she did set. Dory, she was a lovely lady. And we, again, as all I said, will miss her. I would like to take this moment to ask council if you would like, if we would like to do a commemoration as a city council. I would be most happy to head that up. There are a couple of charities that she wished to have something donated to. Donations be given to the Dark County Cancer Association or the Moose Charities. And the Moose Charities are in Moose Heart, Illinois. So if you would, council people, please get with me at your earliest convenience. I'm sorry I can't get out and get around. Excuse me. And we can do something as a council if you would like to do that. So I would be most happy to head that up. And one final thing. It is the final thing. It's a little bit late, the 19th of September, January. And I know that petitions are, when are filings due for the May primary? Does anyone recall?
February 2nd.
Third.
February,
Third.
I believe.
February 3rd. Oh, well, I am choosing not to run again as council president. So anyone is interested in taking out a petition, you must, excuse me, go to the Board of Elections and secure petitions. And I think it's about 50 signatures, valid signatures that you need from throughout the city of the people in your party. So have at it and good luck. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Council President, before we make that a motion, do we need to excuse the absence for this month?
Yes, we do. Thank you. I appreciate that. Motion by Mr. Baumgartner to excuse the absence for the month of January. Discussion, call the roll.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That was John.
Yes.
Okay, motion by Mr. Baumgartner to adjourn. Call the roll, please.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Baumgartner,
Yes.
Godwin,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Mr.
Good
Wright.
night, everybody.